Hi, I'm Valerie Burton, and welcome to this week's video version of our online weekly newsletter. Do you keep putting off goals because you feel like the timing just isn't right? Or do you dive into goals or projects but then find yourself never finishing it because you always are constantly putting the finishing touches on it? Or maybe it's neither of those, or maybe it's both, and you find that your family or your coworkers or the people who work for you, if you're the boss, complain that you're impossible to please. Maybe you know where I'm going with this. You have a perfectionism habit. In fact, you might even kind of brag about being a perfectionist. You're kind of proud of it. We often think of perfectionism as being excellence, but they're actually not one and the same. Perfectionism is actually rooted in fear, and it's often intertwined with procrastination. It's that fear that we're never quite good enough, and it causes us to hesitate to be able to move forward, to be able to finish things. And so if perfectionism is causing you issues, I've got three things in particular I want to share, and I think it's particularly important to share because perfectionists tend to be less happy. They tend to put off making decisions much longer than they have to. They tend to procrastinate about a whole lot of things. And so while sometimes we like to call perfectionism, a good thing, and it's what the successful people do, perfectionists also find themselves anxious and worried, and research shows less happy than people who are successful but aren't perfectionist. So I talk about this in Successful Women Think Differently, and so I'm going to share three specific things to do if this sounds like you. Okay, so number one, focus on progress and not perfection. Progress, not perfection. When you're constantly focused on the destination and you're not paying attention to your journey, you miss the opportunity to learn, the opportunity to grow, the opportunity to just enjoy your journey. Perfectionism actually steals your joy. So I want you to notice the progress that you've made. Celebrate the progress. Celebrate the milestones along the way. Make adjustments and course corrections, but let go of the perfectionism. Number two, set your minimum standard and then stop when you reach it. So the most successful people who are also happy, so those who aren't perfectionists, do something that one of my favorite professors and researchers talks about. His name is Dr. Barry Schwartz. He wrote a book called The Paradox of Choice. And what he found is that choice is good. Some choice is good. We need to have choices. It actually makes us happier to have choices. We have more autonomy. But too much choice can be overwhelming, and it actually causes us to kind of be paralyzed with analysis paralysis, right? So it's really important before you are making an important decision, whether it's something you want to buy or something as simple as choosing what you're going to eat for lunch, that you decide what your minimum standard is. What is my minimum? So if you're going out to buy a television set, what is the minimum of all of the different features that I wanted to have, and what's the maximum that I want to pay? And when you get to the point where you have found something that fit underneath your maximum, but you have all of your minimum features, bam, that's what you choose. You don't keep saying, oh, but I could get a few more features, and you know what, if I drive to the store that's 10 miles away and they've got that sale, I might save an extra $20. No, you've already set your standard, and when you reach it, you stop. You've won. You don't have to find something that's just a little bit better at that point. You've already reached your minimum standard. Here's the great thing about that. Your minimum standard can be a high standard, but it's a finish line you get to reach. You don't keep pushing that finish line out with perfectionism. This is really, really powerful. So set your minimum standard. You can make it a high standard, but once you reach that standard, you stop. And then here's number three. If you absolutely must perfect something, make it your top priority that you perfect. So, in other words, you don't have to be a perfectionist about everything. There might be that one thing that's super important to you. And on that thing, you choose to spend extra time, extra energy making it just right. But you don't do that with everything. You don't do that on every project. You don't do that with every decision. This then frees you to not waste time and energy on things that aren't your top priority. You set that minimum standard, you move forward. When it gets to your top priority, you give yourself permission to spend a little bit more time, but you still eventually move forward. That's it. Let go of the perfectionism. Let go of the fear. Let go of the procrastination. And when you do that, you find that you have permission to move forward. You're free. If you want more life strategies, go out to my blog. It's valerieburton.com/blog. And if you want more from Successful Women Think Differently, check out my 5-day challenge. It's free. Just go to valerieburton.com/5-day challenge. I'll talk to you next time.